Hey guys, my name is Cory. I play for the band Felicity. I'm one of the guitar players. We are in Chicago playing a new show from one of our tours. We are also playing our new single Lovesick Blues tonight for the first time. Yeah, and I'm going to show you guys our travel rig and our flight rigs. So since flying is really hard, we bring everything in Enki guitar cases. We actually recorded Lovesick with this one as well as a lot of the new singles. It's a Fender Telecaster. It is the Diamond Series 60th Anniversary Edition. It just sounds great, it plays great. I'm a huge Fender guy. So if I can only bring one guitar, I usually like to bring this one because with drop pedals and everything and all the different tunings, it just makes it so much easier to use this. And yeah, and it's pretty. So as you can see, there is a lot of switching. I've dunged it up a bunch. I lost my little selector. So primarily for a lot of, if I'm going to be playing a lot of our riff stuff, I'll keep it down here on the bridge pickup just to get it to pop. If we're doing a lot of like our heavier parts for it, we always flip it, for me, always up here on the neck, because we just found that using the Telecaster with the drop and some of our different selectings for our tones, it just gives it this weird tonality and it really makes it stand out. So we'll use that for a lot of the heavier riffs, but for the most part, I'm sitting here. I'll adjust my volume depending on the intensity and how loud I want to be present in the mix. And I always keep the tone up here, pretty much just dialed in on 100. So everything on this is stock. I just loved how they built it. I didn't feel the need to go ahead and change anything. If I was going to change anything, I would change the pick plate, but this little shiny pearl whatever, it's just great. So everything on it is stock as it came from the factory. And yeah, there's not been a need to change everything. The tuning pegs are all the same. The bridge, the nut, the little string holders, it's all the same. So the only additions I did were just add strap locks. That's about it. Yeah. So as far as picks goes, I always use the Jim Dunlop Tortoise, the 1mm flex. It's my pretty much go-to standard that I've tried. I've tried tons of their other different models, and I found that for versatility reasons for myself, I've enjoyed these a lot. I can grip with it. I can play solos. I can play rhythms for it. The only other pick I would use that I didn't bring would be the Jazz 3 grips. They're just like very small little boys. But yeah, no, I love those ones. But yeah, the Flex 3s, or the Flex Tortex are pretty much my standard go-to that I would bring. Yeah, and Amazon gives you like this whole bag for like $10. So as far as strings, full reliables are the Ultra Slinkies, the 10s through the 48s. They're the custom gauge nickel wound by Ernie Balls. These ones I've actually never seen them before until probably like 2 years ago. Never used them, but as far as all the different tunings we've used, how many different parts they play, I found that the 10 to 48s, it doesn't make the top string or the bottom six like so heavy, and it doesn't make the top first like so like thin and like fragile. And it's a lot of bending ability. There's a lot of flexibility with it and dexterity for built into it. So yeah, I pretty much won't use anything else other than really these, honestly. For all my guitars, I tune everything into E flat standard, unless we need to do a drop, and then we'll just be in drop D flat or C sharp depending on what song we're playing and how we have it labeled. But most of the time we just use drop pedals. It's the Digitech drop. And everything's broken down in a chromatic half step. So if I'm tuned into E flat standard and we have a song, for instance like Charlie Sheen, we play in D standard, then I just need to click it on, drop it down to 1, go down a half step. So this just makes everything, especially when you're flying and traveling like we are today, it just makes not having to bring 8 different guitars on the road. It just allows you to just drop in, tune up. If you bring it all the way down to the octave plus the dry, that's really cool. We do that with a lot of our songs, including Lovesick actually, and She's Nuclear, and all these other songs. You drop it down to the octave and the dry. It keeps your regular tone of what you're sending through the pedal, but it also will drop it down a whole octave. So it just makes these very big anthemic wall of sound guitars. And it's just a good way to just sound very massive on stage when you have minimal, instruments and instruments. Awesome. So yeah, so just like Drew, we stopped using tube amps and everything else, and we just run everything now through the Kemper Profiler stage. These are great because again, once you're traveling and just touring, even if you're just like on a bus or something, it just makes everything so much easier because you really just have 2 outputs coming in, left, right stereo if you wanted. You have your inputs for your drops and everything, and you have your power. You can obviously do any sort of like looping and playback, or if you have MIDI controls that you want to use for your stage, you can. but it just makes everything so much easier. I have 4 different presets as far as like different channels I use, with everything from like Silver Jubilee from Marshall, PV5150, 6505s. There's Bogners that I use for my clean channels. And it's just the ability, just flexibility of just having every sound we need from all of our songs and records. Everything we've recorded, I'll go ahead and add and download into the Kemper here. So that way what you hear when you're listening to our songs, you actually can hear live as well. And it's the only amp that we found that gives us that flexibility to be able to do that. So yeah, we just released Lovesick Blues on May 14th. It's out everywhere you stream music, YouTube, Spotify, Tidal, Apple, anywhere you go. You can find us on every social media platform at We Are Felicity. We have our own Discord that we heavily promote. We want everyone to join. When you get inside, you get special discounts on new merch. You get insider knowledge on new songs, new shows, everything. So it is imperative to join the Discord. And we do a lot of lives from there too as well. So at We Are Felicity, guys.